Welcome to Yeshiva Daf. She is sponsored Lui Nishmas Arm Yakushon Le'Abbas Yitzchok. We're holding in Basra Daf Chovdalet. We're in the middle of the big, deep sugya of Roiv V'Karev. I think we want to discuss when you have Roiv and you have Karev. So what do? What comes first? What's Mizgaber? I think we're part of a discussion. We saw in the previous Amud that Rav Chanina says that Roiv V'Karev Holchim Achar Roiv. The majority overcomes the Karev. I think we brought the discussion about that. Says the Gemara now, in the third line, into the third line. We also, like Rav Chanina, the Roiv V'Karev, you go based on the Roiv. What's the Raya? Dam shenimtzo beprosder. You found blood in the prosder. What's the prosder? So here we're going into the Indian of Nido. And as Rashi points out over here, we have the way the Gemara in Nido, the Mishnah Nido, describes the uterus and the area of the blood of a woman is that there is the prosder. The prosder is considered, we're going to translate it almost word to word, and medically how exactly it's exact. You can look at the article in Masifta, they put it out. But you have over here prosder is considered to be the hallway, and above the hallway, for the hallway is where blood comes out to. It can come out from two places. It can come out from the back, from the makor, and it can come out from the top, which is called the aliyah. The aliyah means the second floor, above the hallway. So there's two places where it can come from. So we say like this: Dam shenitza prosder svei koitome. I don't know what blood is it. You say sofik estome sheches kosoy min makor. You chazaka comes from the makor, from the source. Only dam that comes from the makor is mitame. Dam that comes from the aliyah, from the second floor, from another area in the woman's body, that is not mitame. Even though the aliyah is closer to the entrance, closer to the opening of the uterus, that is the aliyah. So the aliyah is closer. So why do you go for the makor? Because you go based on the fact that most blood goes to the makor. So Roiv V'Karev. Only Roiv V'Matzah Kalman, Roiv V'Matzah Lekel Mandalma. He says, don't be you can't be right. Roiv V'Matzah is different. What is Roiv V'Matzah? In this case, it's not only that Roiv Domim coming from the makor, but also it's usual coming from there. There's more blood coming from there, and it's normal for it to come from there. It's the blood that comes from the aliyah not always comes down. It's not much for it to come.
Same thing, matzah. If Roiv, it depends on the Roiv.
No, so here's the case. What Roiv you have Roiv and matzah Roiv is the quantity. There's more quantity of blood in the makor. That's one. Second one is that it's matzah for it to come from there, even if it will be the same quantity. It's just not normal for it to come down. So you have both things. So like everybody agrees that it's okay. The time of Adam and it's our first, in other words, if you find blood in the prostate, you assume that it's dam tummy. If someone goes to Mikdosh, he gets it in Malchus. And if he touched truma, you have to burn it. You see from here three things. One thing you see from here, as we just said now. And you see from here the roiv is machriya midoraiso. B'shvamino isodav zer abishad lotus medino ulos. Even if the city is locked. What do you mean the city is locked? This goes to the Gemara and Ksuvas in the end of the first parak. And there we had a concept called trey ruby, double roiv. What's a double roiv? If you have people that come in the city, they have the roiv, the majority of people in the city are one thing. Plus you have majority of people outside of the city, it's called trey roiv. As we show you point out over here, the trey roiv is only chum derabanan. It's not din deraisa to have it, because when you look at the midin deraisa, it's a regular roiv. But he's saying your trey ruby to tell me that we're talking about a roiv. It's more of a achra when I have a double roiv. So what is the Gemara telling me over here? Tell me, even though you have over here only one roiv, the royal blood, that's good enough. The Isha is like there's no other roiv, it's only the roiv of the blood. You go with the roiv. So then, 1 second. One of the rayas that we said over here is that we said that you roiv v'karva lecha roiv. V'ayrovu the kama roiv u'matzu lekel mandoma. The Rav is the one who said you should know the roiv u'matzu is different. So what's the raya? Says the Gemara, how to be Rav changes mind. So Rav changed mind from what? The Rishonim discuss it, bring two different concepts. What did he change his mind? The Ritos Machriya, they was changed his mind from the second one. Why? Because the Lashon Leikla Mandara means there's no discussion. So, if you want to tell me that it's not so clear, so you don't say such a strong statement. The Leikla Mandara means that was the Achla. You have a barrel floating in the river. If it's in front of a city, which is Roiv Yisrael, it's mutar. In front of an ear full of goyim, it's also. It's
A wine barrel?
A wine barrel. Yeah, wine barrel. It's a wine barrel. So he's saying is that Rashi says clearly, so he says, why? Anymore, we say, maybe it came from a different city called Kiro, right? Rashi calls it Shem Mocher. It's a county. So I'm saying maybe it came from a higher place. The river brings water. It touches that city as well. So you tell me this city is a Jewish city. Yeah, but maybe it came from a bigger city from before. Says the Gemara, what's Machlekes? Machlekes is Roiv Karev. The Karev city is the Jewish city. The Roiv city is the Goyish city. So Gemara, look, everybody agrees with Chanina that you go Roiv Karev. If it came from that far away county, the turns and the rack should have caused the barrel to drown. The flow of the river pushed it in. Rashi says the barrel was in the middle of the river, so it flew. So the word says, what's the way things work? This we mentioned, this is the example Tuis brought before, is not considered to be a kurva demuchach. Kurva demuchach means a kurv which is clearly coming from here. This is not kurva demuchach because we find a barrel next to the same. It could be a flew for somewhere else. So they found it's like a barrel of wine in a vineyard of Orlo. So Shaila is this wine coming from this vineyard and it's Orlo, it's Asur, or not? Shari Ravina said you can drink it. Maybe you should maybe you also have Chanina. They say Roiv Karev because the Karev is this vineyard, but the Roiv is somewhere else. Shani also the Migna Mino Atzrum B'Gavei Lo Matzeh. So this thing we talk about that the barrel was stolen. It's not in its place. Someone stole it. If he stole, what is he putting in here in this vineyard? He probably stole from another place and he brought it to this vineyard. That's that's a wine. For grapes you do because grapes you do go and hide maybe in the place. It's less because it wasn't a process so much. Maybe that's what you do.
If you're saying it came from another place, when it's called the Parish, River the Parish.
That's what you're saying.
That's what you're saying.
Yeah, that's what you're saying. So question: why didn't you go visit the curve? So the curve you say, so no, not right. Tony's asked over here. Why don't you go? Because we're oil. You're saying that. I mean, if you telling me that it's mutar because it's not oil because that doesn't belong to the. What about the fact that most people are going? So he says no. Roiv Gan v'Yisrael. We have the Gemara it's in a few places. So we assume that the Gan is Yisrael. So they found also these pitchers of wine. They found it beikupoi in this place in this vineyard. Again, maybe because you say why? Because you assume that it belongs to beikupoi means you go west in the curve. You go west in the curve because here this area is more Jewish than Goy. It says more shani asam the rubo when the shapuchai, the ones that are the pourers, the ones that pour the wine from the barrel into the barrel, they're Yisrael. That's Davko when you have it's large pitchers that didn't fall for people that are walking by. If it's small, it could have been in the saddle or the pocket of one of the people walking by. If it's big and small together, so it could be that so it could be the what? It could be that he had big barrels, and he wanted to go and balance the barrels. So that's why he had put small barrels in between to balance it off. So that's why the big and the all together. So you say everything is mutter with the cut. Why? Because you're saying it didn't come from a faraway place because you have the big ones. So what are you doing? Why is he having small ones if it's very close by? The answer is he took the small one just to balance, just to make sure that brewer means you put in the air and the air space in between. Okay, but just to mention, obviously this Gemara, there's a lot to talk about. One of the things that one of the big sugyas over here is what the Ramban mentions. The Ramban goes in here to say that in the Kerem, the vineyard, you have the idea of kaninso kanoyo. When I find something, I assume wherever you found it, that's where it was. There's a concept kaninso kanoyo, and that puts a whole big discussion over here, just to mention that it's brought down in this daf. So the Mishnah. You have to take the tree away from the city 25 amo. But if it's a carob tree or a sycamore tree, so then you have to have 50 amo because they have a lot of leaves, a lot of branches. If it doesn't bear fruit, it says 50 amo. If the city came first, it means he planted the tree illegally, so you cut down the tree, no pain. But if the tree came first, then you cut it off and give money. Why? Because he came first. You have the right. I'm not sure. You cut the tree in any case, regardless. So you don't give money for the owner of the tree. So in my time, what's the reason that I need to make sure the tree is not close to the city? For the beauty of the city, I want to have some space. What about the fact that they have to have 1,000 amo around the city open with no fields? So you could change it around. You could put around the city to make a field in the place of the midrash. So even that, they don't make it 50 amo, you still have to have space, or 25 amo. Even if you want to talk like a banan, hanimil is right. You can't plant their seeds, grain. You could plant trees. Trees is normal to have. That you have to do. Even because you don't do it. And here the first you point out we learn that we know that we'll see. Let's see the more first. And we know Taimro the shani bin zoyim. The more refers to the How do we know this difference between soyim and lonos? The difference between seeds and trees. If I have a karfa means a closed area, but which is not a house. So you have closed, you have a fence around it. And it's more than base time. And it's made for living. So then it's considered to be, you could carry it. But if you planted it, people don't live in a place where it's planted. So it's like a gin, it's also. But if it was trees you put into it, meaning, and this is as the first point out in the Gemara, people live with trees. Living with trees is normal. Living with grain is not. So that's why if I have a tree next to the city, it doesn't bother me as much as having a garden. If the city came first, you cut it off. So what does it mean? By bor, we say that you cut it and you pay for it. And here it says you cut it and you don't pay for it. But by the bar, we're going to learn later that you cut it and you pay for it. This is a bigger site. Because the city, who's in charge of the city? Many people. The Gedeir Beshutvi, the pot that belongs to two partners, it's not cold and not hot. Everybody relies on the other one. He's either going to heat it up or going to cool it. And what happens in the middle when you have too many people involved? Nishtei. It never really gets hot in the pot because nobody is taking care of it. So if I have cities, if I'm going to tell you that you have to pay for it, it's never going to happen. So that's why I just cut it off. My question, what's the question? I can answer the question. When you mazik the yochid and it's an individual, So you take it off and you pay him. But if it's a robbery, you don't. Because you're doing more of it. You have to say the next part. If the tree came first, so you cut it off and you give money. She said, you know what, pay me first. Then I'll cut the tree. Why tell me to cut the tree out first, baby? And you're telling me that if I did it legally, so you still want to cut me? Don't cut before you pay me. So no. I have to cut it first. Then you come and get the money. Because if I have to wait, if you're going to wait for us to get you the money and you're not going to come and demand it, it's not going to happen. In other words, when it's two people taking care of it, you can't rely on it. Second one, not sure it came first, so then you cut it and you don't pay. My board said don't cut. We said before, if it came first, you don't cut it all. By a board. So then, if I'm not sure, you don't cut. That's the mitzvah of the raya. So here in the city, you're going to cut it always. The only question is you pay or not. You always cut it off. The question is always go based on the raya. Buy a board. I don't know if I'm cut. I'm not cutting until I know for sure. By city, I know for sure I'm cutting. The question is you pay. That's the suffix. So the Mishnah. Marchikim goyrin kavua mina'ir 50 amo. So goyrin kavua is, we'll see more what's kavua, but the goyrin is the grindery, where you do the grind, where you grind. So you have that 50 amo distance. Let's sell them in kavua to show domik in your own chatzar, and then 50 amo chalurach, as we saw before, similar idea by bar. Make sure that you take away from the trees and the near. The near is when you plow for the first time before you plant. What?
The two plows.
Yeah, the two plows. The original plow. So then the din is Kadei Shelo Yazik, in order for it not to be music. So it says the Maishto ratio, Maishto Sefer. Meaning, why do we say in the ratio, you say Chavishim Amo, and then we say Shelo Yazik? So well, by Sefer Asan Legor Sheinu Kavur. In Kavur it's less. Right? So what does it mean? You're not using the rachas. Rachas is the pitchfork. You're not using the rachas. So if I'm not using the rachas, so then that means it's not big enough to use the rachas. It's not. We're talking about the same type of query. My time, why is that so? I don't want to be mazik. I'm just explaining to you the reason. The same way we take it away from the ear chavishim place where you plant gores. Not the gores. The trees. The near that it's all 50 amo. So it makes sense. Because we said 50 amo, we say everything is the same. I said no. Gorin kavua is 50. Not gorin kavua if it's a smaller gorin, it's less. So it's more cash. You're right. The fact that we're just giving a standard thing, 50 amo of everything, doesn't really work well with the body. So you understand in the gourds, the dust goes out when you use for the goyrin, and it's going to go into the heart of the pumpkins, and it's going to ruin it. And the minir is the plowing. What's the problem over there? Says the Gemara Daf Chafei Amud Aleph, Shoyso Oyso Golo. Oyso Golo, Rashi says, Marbelo Izev, makes a lot of fertilizing. It does an interfertilization. And it ruins the Zroim, Rashi says. It says, even though it's very normal to have fertilization in the field, it depends not too much. If it's too much, it's a problem. And that's what the Goyrin does. Sir Gomor, we'll stop over here. And Be'ez Hashem, we'll continue in Shabbos.